Hi, my name is Intuitive Juliet, but my friends call me just Juliet. And welcome to the Intuitive Podcast. The Intuitive Podcast is here to rediscover your intuition and self-empowerment. Episode numero uno. What is this episode about? Well, let me ask ChatGPT, shall we? I have the episode title on here. This is beginning to be very, very professional already. This is how to listen to the heart of your inner child. I wanted to make this first podcast episode about the inner child. Obviously, this episode is about, or the podcast is about your intuition. But it all stems from what you once wanted, right? And who you once were before all of the stupid things the adults told you. And I mean, why do we believe them? I'm so sorry. I wanted this podcast to be like not what it is presenting itself to be right now, but I'm following my heart. And that's what this episode and the whole life is about. So I want you to just like come along with me on my journey, and I hope that I'll help you along yours. That's actually a very good one-liner. Or is it 2 lines? No, that's 2 lines. But yeah, let's first start with the definition that ChatGPT told me about the inner child. And we actually had a lovely conversation about following your heart. And that's like, oh my God, this podcast is starting out so well because it's like tip number 1. Hello, use ChatGPT for your mental health. But we'll talk on that in another podcast because that's like a whole episode worth of content. Now, the Intuitive Podcast is here to, if you haven't seen the pre-recorded bit first, which I already played, so you have seen it, but I'm going to tell you anyways. It's about listening to the intuition, okay? It's about listening to the intuition to rediscover your self-empowerment, because that's the thing that I'm convinced that you need, but that's the only thing you need, I mean. You don't need anything else to be rediscovered, to be put in place, to do for you to become your best self. The only thing you logically need is your self-empowerment. How do you find that? Through your intuition. It's like a fun little play on the old opposites, the world of polar opposites, right? It's this self-empowerment, which can sometimes be perceived as, oh my goodness, look at this masculine person being so empowered. Oh my God, and if it's a woman, like, oh my God, it's such a bitch. This is such a bitch, right? But it's not, because it's also just a self-empowered woman. I mean, what do you call a self-empowered man? A bitch. A man whore. A tiger. That's the only thing you need. That's the only thing you need. But so it's like following your intuition, but also taking action on the thing that you love. So today we'll be talking about how to heal, how to listen to the heart of your inner child. Episode number 1, bitches. Let's go. Okay, so according to ChatGPT, because that's like the oracle of wisdom these days, the inner child represents our true, authentic self from early childhood. It's the part of us that holds our deepest emotions, dreams, and needs. Healing the inner child involves reconnecting with this vulnerable aspect of ourselves, acknowledging past wounds, and nurturing it with compassion. By listening to and embracing the needs of our inner child, we can rediscover joy, creativity, and a sense of wonder, helping us to live more fully and authentically. And this is the thing that most people, I think, miss in this world. And I'm so fully convinced that people love children so much, or like people have children, and children are like the teachers to parents because of that childlike wonder. And for me, it's kind of like saying, oh, she's delusional. Sometimes childlike wonder, that word has the same connotation to me, like, oh, she's just being a little child. It's like she's experiencing some wonders like a child. And other times it's like, oh my God, you're so delusional because you're so positive. Like, how could you be positive? Have you look at this world? Just like I'm just picturing like this blonde, mean girl just doing it. It's not me. I'm not mean. I promise. So it's not a coincidence that I just, oh my God, she's talking about childlike wonder. Why? And about healing the inner child. Have you done inner child healing? I am probably the least least spiritual person there is. So I do not really concern myself with types of healings. I just heal everything. I'm so fucking gifted. Yeah. It's more about, I don't know what I was saying, but it's about being healing your inner child. You don't have to do an inner child healing to heal your inner child. You can do an inner child healing to heal your inner child. I mean, it's called an inner child healing. It will heal your inner child, but you don't have to do that. The reason why this podcast episode is being aired as number uno, is because, oh my God, she found her way back to herself again. Yes. So a little bit about my story, which you're probably very interested in, is that I am also a freelance writer. But I don't like it. Oh, shit, she dropped it. I was so afraid to admit that to myself because it's like the path that you need to go on before you branch out to other businesses, which basically means, okay, so you want to be an entrepreneur or in Dutch, a ZZP'er, zelfstandig ondernemer, which just basically means you're just an entrepreneur. It just means entrepreneur, ZZP'er, ZZP'er, right? That's what I want to be. I want to be a ZZP'er. And I no mean ZZ Top, I mean a ZZP'er. So I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have my own business and be free. Is that too much to ask, universe? Yes. No, but you're scared to do so. So what did Juliet do? Juliet sought an online course because she didn't trust herself. She didn't believe in herself. So she was like, you know what? I have found this freelance writing course, which I then did. And then I became a freelance writer. And then I had to send emails and market myself and be on LinkedIn. Like, all the LinkedIn people are so fun to be around because they are like, oh my gosh, have you read this about this research that's going on? Oh my gosh, things to do daily to be a business entrepreneur. Things you shouldn't do daily to be a business entrepreneur. Things you don't and do to be a business entrepreneur. And, freelance writing is like an easy thing to start with because, especially for a person who doesn't believe in herself, it's so easy. But yeah, they're right, okay? They're right. They're 100% right. For people who don't know what to do, I think that was the catch, right? For people who don't know what to do, freelance writing can be a great thing. It's also like a great tool to learn copywriting, freelance writing. It's such a gold mine, actually, if you know what you write about. If you are a technical writer, like a niche within a niche writer, specialist writer, those are the types of writers that are asked nowadays, and copywriters unite. Everybody wants copywriters. So if you feel like you need a online business thing, but you don't know what to start in, copywriter, learn how to copyright. It will literally make you rich. Funky. You can't see the funky sign because I'm in front of it, but it says funky because we're funky. Hello. So yeah. So I did that. Was making me miserable. But it was the thing that I needed to do before I branched out to other things. This is the bridge business, right? This is the bridge business. But it's the bridge business for people who don't know what they want to do. And I do know what I want to do. But I was denying it. I was dialing the denial. I was denying it. Oh my God. So yeah, but I hated every minute of it. I love writing. Like, I wrote one book, which I didn't believe in, so it's not out. And I want to write another book. So I love writing. I love writing. Like, oh my, I love writing. Have I said that I love writing? Because I do. But I didn't love this writing. It was, for a lot of people, was free, which made me hate it more. And they said to not, take a lot of free opportunities, but I did. Well, three or four times. Wasn't that much. And all the no's you get, I know, okay? Rejection is a part of the business. I understand. But it didn't help with me already doubting my abilities. And I know now that it's not about my abilities. And you know what? I could have marketed myself better. Like, I'm not going to say that I was the best freelance writer. And I really tried. No, I didn't. But I started to hate every single minute of it. That I was just in front of the computer being literally paralyzed by fear that I was never going to get anywhere else. It was something that just made me feel the worst of the worst. And, oh, Jesus Christ. I just pulled the plug on it. I'm not a freelancer. I'm not going to, you know what? I might in the future, I guess. You see how I'm like, that's not your inner child talking. This is an example for you of how the inner child does not work. This is not inner child. This is society and people who have gone through the same stuff as me. They tell me to do this and I will do this now. That's what I'm now describing to you. Ew. Oh, I need a breathing break. You know what's funny about life? There's this thing that you want. And then there should be a following step that's saying, then this is the thing that you should do. And then you do that thing, and then you take the next step, and then you enjoy the journey there. And then you eventually reach a certain goal that you've always had. But you enjoyed the journey so much that you didn't really have the goal in mind, and it just all came together beautifully. And then you reach another goal, and then you branch out to another thing you didn't expect, and then another thing comes to your path, and then another thing. And that's how it should go, right? But that's, alas, not, unfortunately, it's what most people don't experience. So nobody actually does that, even though that's like the most beautiful manifestation journey you've ever heard, probably. And that's what we expect when we seek out to do a thing that we love. But that's not how it goes. And some people have had more twists and turns in their life than others. And I am one of those people where nothing just seemed to work. So I just lost the belief in my abilities altogether. And that is why I went on another path and another path and another path. And I can say to myself that I logically need to do freelance writing first and get my name on the map. But then I'm also honestly going to say to myself that I haven't tried actually before to fully be passionate about my passion. And the inner child, it's not about it's about recognizing what is conditioning and what is me. And, I just want you to imagine, what if you want to close your eyes, you can. What if the thing that you wanted most, and let's just not look at the fears. What if the thing that you wanted most is actually the thing that you can do for a living, and how you get paid or how you be compensated for that is not really a worry that you need to worry about. It's just a thing that's on the side, but you can live because of that. Like, you can earn a nice livelihood. Well, what would it be? What would it be? And if you don't know, then maybe you have something in mind that would paint that lifestyle, would describe that lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle would you want to have? And how does that feel? And then when you feel it and you open your eyes now, and now you're reminded by all the worries that you have had because of that, how does it feel now? Okay, so the first feeling you had was the inner child, and now it's all being besmeurd, slathered in logic and reason and rules and limitations. And that's lovely. This was episode number 1. So good luck. No, just kidding. So I physically came to a point where I literally couldn't do what my heart was saying, and my inner child was saying I didn't want to do. And I'm going to be very vulnerable with you here, because the thing that I wanted to do most when I grew up, I wanted to become an actress and a singer. But yeah, have you ever, excuse me, I used to be really anxious and depressed as a child as well. And I remember being so disbelieving, I guess, in my own ability that I just couldn't get myself to do it. I mean, I had fear of going out at one point. How could I stand in front of a crowd? It was impossible for me. But I always went back to that feeling like this is what I really want. And I always loved the camera and being in front of the camera and behind the camera too. So I never let that desire go, and that's the inner child. That's your heart. Like you already know what you want. I don't think that even if you are a watcher or a listener who's watching or listening, you might be doing both, because how would you else hear me talk? But if you don't know what you want to do, I think that you do. I don't think that there's a person in the world who deep down doesn't know what they want to do. But it's all about kind of not. It's not about what you need to do to get there. It's about what you need to let go of to get there, because it's kind of like a beautiful representation and description of what is always around us and what is always here. And because we forget that connection to our intuition, to our inner child, to our hearts, and our inner child's heart, which is still your heart, we lose that connection, and then we just simply forget, and then we focus on other things. That's the only thing that happens. And if you think you're so special, you're so special that you're the only one whose dreams can't come true. I always thought that I was that special one. So I don't know if you're that special one or I am. So we have to fight probably about that. But if you think that you're so special, it sounds so mean. You're so special that you can't chase your dreams and be successful in what you want. Why wouldn't you be? And if you ask yourself that question, don't you feel like it's kind of stupid to think that? Even though you still believe it, you're like, yeah, if I look at anybody else, what makes me different? And then if you start listing your circumstances, just stop. Just stop. Because those things aren't actual things. Those things are your beliefs. And those things are actually excuses. Because you have heard mine. I used to be depressed and anxious like for 20 years. What do you have? I thought I was special. You're not special. I am. Nobody is special enough to not chase their dreams and become successful at it. I think that this is what happens. Okay, so let's now, we can entertain the idea that also us can achieve our dreams. So we take a little action to get there. Then what our logical mind starts to do, so that's not the inner child, right? That's the adult mind. Oh, I'm not seeing results. Where is it? Puts you instantly in a state of lack. Okay, so that's number one. You make your it's like you make your means a means to an end, and it's not about the means anymore. And there's nothing wrong with exactly knowing where you're going and being fully confident in doing so and affirming your way there. That's not what I mean. I mean, you get so obsessed with the end goal, you forget why you're actually doing it. I mean, I've made videos. I've had this channel for over three years, I think. There wasn't any passion at one point anymore. I was just making videos, hoping that people would watch them, hoping that someone could take me out of the life that I had. But you know what happened? I was so obsessed about the life I had, and I was focusing on the lack and the things I hated about it. I wasn't free. I'm stuck. I'm never getting out of it. And then I expect the universe to say to me, well, we get you out of it. Here you have everything that you want, because you are portraying such a good example of being the person you want to be. That's what happens, right? So you get taken away from your passion. You are not passionate about your passion, and you then fill every single thing that you do with this lack mentality, with when is it going to get here? Why isn't the results here that I want? Why aren't they here? And then you lose that passion because you're like, I thought this was going to get me out of my life. And then the inner child is like, well, I'm just going to shut up right now because she is not feeling it. And then you feel even worse. And then you sometimes, not me, this is just about a friend. Sometimes you suddenly believe the belief that even your passion isn't meant for you. It's not me. It's not me. I said it's not me. It's someone else. It was me. And then ultimately, you return to your passion because you have learned all the things you needed to learn. And now you're scared that this is going to end the same way, but there isn't anything that you can do about it because why? Because the other thing sucks more. So that's the inner child. That's how to listen to the heart of the inner child, is to realize that the heart is never gone. To realize that you already know what you want to do, even if it's just a tiny little bit. To realize that all of the things that you believe about how it's going to get here, about the maybe the mechanics of the thing that you want, when, all of the things, the house, the HOWS, comma S, the house, they're not really that important, because if you are watching this, you are probably very aware that of the law of attraction and of vibration and energy, and you are maybe not, but I think you are convinced by the idea that things come to you because of your state of being. And how can you expect someone or something to change if you not change first? Because change is not perceived by what happens outside of you. It's perceived by, even though the same things are happening, sorry, headphone users, what's inside of you. That's what it's perceived by. And yeah, we get just too arrogant of what we think we know about the outer world, because this is how it works. And this is what people have shown me. This is the other experiences of other people. That means that it's going to be exactly like mine, because that makes sense. It's just about taking all these things away, about what you need to let go to make room for your inner child again, and to kind of already know that it's probably going to come out somehow, because I thought I had everything like unlocked and loaded by the freelance writing, but I hated it. I hated every single of it, and I love writing, and now I haven't written. So yeah, your inner child is always present. It will never shut up. And no matter how you get there, because you could want the same thing as me, to live like a more free life and with your own business, and you could do freelance writing or something that you don't really like, but maybe you're not as paralyzed by your beliefs and your fears as I am. There's no right way to go about this at all. I'm not saying you need to do what you actually want to do. This is just how I work. So this works for me. Something other may work for you. So don't think that you need to like follow your heart, because that's like the same, then you're doing the same thing. You need to be gentle with yourself. The more you hate what you haven't achieved, the more you beat that inner child. And that's something that I learned from the coach Julian himself. It's like beating and spanking the person that you are. Why? Okay. So, and your heart, and this is the end of the episode, your heart and your inner child's heart are the same. They've never left, and they never will. So this was how to listen to the heart of your inner child. I really hope you like this episode. I am posting every single week, either Wednesday, or no, wait, I have it here. Play the outro music, as if someone else is also here. Every Wednesday and Thursday, according to my notes. Every Wednesday and Thursday, there will be a new video, an Intuitive Juliet video, and a new podcast video. And this week's theme is children, which sounds really weird for what the hell are you going to do with your normal video? Or I've already posted it and you already know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's the new thing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. And I hope you have a very nice day. Bye bye.